I'm here today with
Sharon.
And we're going to be doing the interview for CER number 5, which there was 2 prompts, and I've chosen to write about the second prompt, this is what it says about prompt 2. So our families have a tremendous amount of power over our understanding of what is normal, natural, right, and good. For example, our parents give us our first demonstration of what a relationship is supposed to look like. How they act and interact shapes the way we construct our own identities, as well as setting the foundation for our own future relationships. These examples may provide us with positive role models and norms, and they may create obstacles that we have to overcome as we age. So, let's see. So how impactful do you feel like your family and upbringing has been on your identity and life outcomes?
A lot. Definitely, I think growing up, one thing that maybe sets me apart from maybe some of my peers growing up is that I lived in a rural area, so we weren't in town. And so because of that, family was like the main thing I was around all the time growing up. I wasn't able to go participate in a lot of local community things because we weren't in town. So everything I learned, was pretty much were the examples that my parents set for me and the things they allowed me to do or enabled me to be able to do. So I definitely think it did have a big influence on shaping me into who I've become.
Okay, and then let's see. So maybe discuss like how much interaction did you have with either parent, or discuss how much interaction maybe you've had with either parent.
I would say it's pretty equal, maybe more interaction. I'd say more so with my mom than my dad. Both were, we were a complete family unit, so they were both in the home. Both my mom and dad worked, but my dad worked longer hours. So, typically I would see my mom more. And when it came to, interaction or things with school activities, it seems like mom was the one that was more involved in those type of things. I had both of their support, but when it came to actual one-on-one interaction, probably more so from my mom.
Okay, yeah, and that was going to be my next thing. So I was going to say, so what is family? So family is a domestic group of people linked by a common ancestor, marriage, and adoption, or it could be like your parents and stuff. And so there's more, but there's 3 main family definitions or types of families, family structures. Like I said, there's more, but there's kind of 3. So there's the nuclear, which is the traditional. So it's like a heterosexual marriage. It's the first marriage, multiple children. There's blended, which is the household with step parents, siblings, half siblings, and then there's the single parents. So where would you categorize
in that
yourself?
first category that you described?
Traditional, yeah.
Traditional, and then I also had siblings. So,
and then okay, so. Also, I could say, so how has the difference in time and interaction style influenced your identity and outlook? How would you say? Maybe from that family to now, you have your own family, you can compare it to that.
Right. Well, I see a lot of similarities in that, both myself and my husband work, and with our children, we're both there for them. But then again, it's sort of that maternal role that I grew up with. I've taken on that same role and feeling like, I've got to make sure they get their schoolwork done. I've got to make sure they have everything they need before they start school. I've got to make sure we have everything planned out for the summer. Not to say that the husband and dad doesn't help with those things, but I always kind of took it upon myself as that was my responsibility. And then, I feel like I've branched out a little bit from that as to where I've reached out more, to my husband. Than I feel like, growing up, the roles were pretty specific, and mom did what mom did and dad did what he did. And there wasn't as much of that one-on-one with my dad.
Yeah. And this may not be a question you can answer, but another question that we could possibly discuss was, how has trauma from your past affected your present life? But if there's nothing you can really say, that's understandable. There's just another.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily that there would be any specific trauma that I experienced that I could speak to.
Okay, that's pretty much all I have. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.